Advisor of Porter International Cooperation Limited. Let's welcome National Taiwan University of Science and Technology, Professor Joy Tai, to moderate this session.
Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the speaker. He is our old brother. And he has been working for over 63 years. So do you have that question? Did he start working when the day he was born? No. He's 83 years old now, but he is still working as a co-consultant and many consultant jobs, case by case. He has a motto. He said, "I'm tired of retiring." That's why he's still working. And he has a very impressive list of working experiences. When he was American Express General Stanley Yan Changshou was the delivery boy. And he has been working in Japanese companies, in Germany, and in Taiwan, Southeast Asia. He founded a travel agent, and he also worked in Jinbaoshan. And he has been changing for 10 jobs during his career. And with all of these wonderful working experiences, his tool is that he's so good at languages. He's born in the Japanese colonial period, so his mother tongue is Japanese and Taiwanese. Then he learned English, and then Chinese. And he can speak Hakkanese, Shanghainese, Spanish. Whenever he traveled to a place, he would pick up local languages. That's how he blended into the culture. That's how making him such a great business person. And more than that, at his age, he loved to share with all of his experiences and expertise with the young people. That's why you are so lucky to listen to his wonderful speech, 10 rules on making you how to be a global worker. Let's welcome our big brother, Jerry Chen.
Thank you, Joy, for a nice introduction. I'm Jerry Chen. Do I look 83? No. Did I? I wish I were 38. But anyway, age is just a number. I don't care. I don't really care how old am I. A lot of people ask me why I'm not retired. Just as Joy said, my reply is always like this. I was retired so many times. I'm tired of retiring, so I'm back to work. And this is the situation. I will not be retired. I'd like to, before I start my speech, I'd like to thank Patience and Dave for communicating with me to let me know the nature of this forum. And I'm glad to be able to meet with all the young friends here today. And I really feel happy because you are full of hope. And now you're full of knowledge and skill, and you are ready to go out to the world, the real world stage, and to face the real challenge. So I'd like to give you all my experiences in the past, because I've never been to college. All the highest education I have is high school. Because at my time, going to college is a kind of a luxury. Of the 40-some classmates graduated from the Jiayi Commercial Vocational School, only 3 of us, only 3 persons went to college. The rest of us started working. I started working in a Chiayi tax bureau. Then I got promoted and got a transfer to Taitung, and my mother didn't like it so much, so I said goodbye to Taitung. It's a beautiful place. I wanted to stay, but my mother said, oh no, it's too far for you. So I decided to come back. And then come the military service. And a lot of changes in my life. In my lifetime, I changed more than 10 different professions. It's like a rolling stone. And normally the rolling stone gave us no moss. But in my case, I'm happy to report that being a rolling stone gave me a lot of extra knowledge and extra experiences that I learned things from life, from jobs. That I worked in the Japanese company, I worked in the Taiwanese company, and also become the representative of a German company. And I collected a little bit of knowledge from each. And now, at 83, I'm still a consultant for several businesses. In Taichung, I'm a consultant for Porter International. Maybe you're familiar with this brand, because young people love to use our bags. Porter International. And also the sister company called Gallant. I'm also a consultant there. I've been working there for 22 years already. Now today, I'd like to share with you my knowledge about my 10 rules of being a successful global worker in the international scene. As you are finishing your school, you have the knowledge, you have the skill, you are ready to meet with the challenge to start working. Regardless of which nationality, Japanese, American, German, Chinese, all management are seeking profits. So my number one rule is you don't become the cost of the company. You become the assets of the company. If you are the cost of the company, when you become more expensive, you get laid off. They show you the door, they let you go. You have to become an important asset that the company has to rely on you to make money, to make a profit. Then you become a very important person in the company. And that's been the case. I have a story to share with you here, which is about the famous person every one of you know, Wai Shi Wang Yongqing. My wife told me this story some time ago. My wife is from a big family in Chiayi. My wife's father and his brothers are running a soda drink company with maybe 20 workers. So altogether, every day they have 20 to 40 people eating. So it's a pretty big consumption of rice every time. And Wang Yongqing happened to be a delivery boy. He worked for the rice mill to deliver rice, to the customers. My wife's family had a real bad experience buying bad rice from the different sources, like in the southern Taiwan with high humidity. You always get some bugs, in the rice jar if you keep the rice for too long and not using it. But most delivery boys will come and pour the new rice into the old rice, over on top of it. So the old rice never got a chance to be used up, and you keep adding the new rice on top, and the old rice become, fermented, and then you get the bugs. And after several experiments, my wife's uncle decided to buy from a source, that is from Wang Yongjing. But this boy is very smart. He comes into the house with an extra sack on his shoulder. He will pour out the old rice into his sack. Then pour the new rice into the jar. Then the old rice on top of it. This way, you will have a chance to consume all the old rice. So just after they started buying from Wang, they never had the problem of the bugs. And not only that, this boy knows the inventory system. He has a little notebook to write down each client's name and the number of people eating and approximately how many days we require him to deliver once. So he has all the data. So he'll come in about 2 days before the time is due and check. I said, the day after tomorrow, I'll bring rice for you. So you don't have to really worry because at the time, you don't even have telephone. So you worry, you run out of rice, but if you buy from Wang, he will come on time to check. And this boy, according to my wife's uncle, says, he is really something. He's going to be a really big guy in the future. That was obvious because from that time, that's what Wang was 16 or 17 years old. 17 years old, he already knows the system of the inventory, the first in, first out. And these kind of things are in his mind. So of course, this appears in his big enterprise like Taiwan, the plastic and Changwon University, Changwon Hospital, and the countless of big enterprises he can run. The seeds of the greatness was obvious from the very beginning of his young days. So I'd like to share with you the knowledge I acquired in life, including my second point, which says, become that expert that nobody can replace you. You have to develop a special skill. That skill is going to save you. So in my case, I'm born and raised in a Taiwanese family where Japanese language is almost my mother tongue. I speak Japanese with my family members, my wife, and I can now attend the Japanese business conferences. I can write some simple Japanese contracts that I can translate from English to Japanese. And of course, you can find many people with good English, like Harrison is wonderful. But Harrison cannot speak Japanese. No? Oishii. Oishii desu ka? Okay, now, number one, I told you about. You become the asset, not the cost of the company. And number two, you become an expert that nobody can replace you. Then I'd like to mention that you constantly check your own level of integrity, and by no means take advantage of your employer or your company for your personal gains. In Taiwan, we have very strange culture, and we also have a compliance problem. That the personal things and the corporate things are mixed up. A lot of people are taking advantage of the company in the entertainment, in the belongings, and also in lots of activities like transportation. They use a corporate car to transport his family members. A lot of waste have been seen in the entertainment. Let me tell you one story that actually happened in Taichung. When I was in sporting good business, an American buyer came to buy tennis rackets. They agreed on the price of $34 US per racket. And they signed a sales note for 10,000 rackets. So that night, the sales manager invited the American clients to dinner. And following this manager are other departments, managers, engineers, and all this altogether, 10 or 12 people. They consumed about 5 or 6 bottles of XO, and they're all so happy. But as I was invited also, I was watching the American clients' facial expression very carefully. He is growingly become very uneasy about the party as it progresses. They keep come by, and they try to make it drunk. You know what happened? I met the guy at the hotel lobby and he said, "Jerry, I'm going to cancel the order." I said, "What happened?" He said, "They're making too much money." You know, the way they drank, the way they ate, gave me the impression that they must have a very high, a markup for the things I'm buying. And for sure, the next day he appeared at the racket factory again and said, "I am going to cancel the order." Well, they were all surprised. So they asked him why. He said, "The price is not right. If you can lower the price to change the sales note, lower per racket to $30, that's $4 down." They didn't know how to handle the situation. They said, "You accept or I cancel." So eventually they agreed at the price of 30. After the big party, after spending all the money, they had to lower the price of the tennis racket in order to keep the order. It's a very sad story. I think most of us feel that we are clean, we are honest, we are not cheating, we're not doing anything wrong with the company. But we don't know. We are not so purely white. We may be gray. I mention this because we are stealing something invisible and more important, more valuable. That is time. Maybe you are using your telephone. Maybe you are using your computer to do your own personal communications. Maybe you are communicating, you are having fun with some new, entertainment program or something, without knowing that what you're stealing is the valuable time. You have been paid by the company to work, yet you are spending your time for your personal enjoyment without realizing, which is not an integral part of the agreement with the company. This morning, just before coming here, a friend sent me a joke through line message, saying the old saying, a grandson was asking grandma, why in the old time you said, an apple a day keep doctors away? And the grandma said, yeah, it has a new meaning. They said, if you keep your Apple iPhone every day and play with it, you're going to lose your doctorate degree. The grandma has been very humorous. And then we move on to number 4 is to keep acquiring knowledge and new skills and keep experimenting in order to improve your job performances. Even now at the age of 83, I still spend a couple hours reading, studying, in order to brush up my language, my knowledge within my work. And I think studying it makes me happier and also enriches my skill to handle my business more smoothly. And even now, I don't stop studying. And I think you, as young people, should continue to study every day with a good input of new skills and new knowledge, and keep growing every day. I have to also then I have to tell you to keep on changing. I mean, whenever something wrong happens, a lot of people like to blame other people. They say, if the system is better, I wish the system would change, the management would change, the concept would change the policy. If something is wrong, and they never think that what needed a change is himself. So I think we all have to be more flexible. As Americans often said, you are getting what you're getting because you are doing what you're doing. If you don't like what you're getting, change what you're doing. Sometimes, if you change, the whole situation will change. And you expect other people to change, the company to change, it's almost impossible. It's too late. And I think we have to check where we need to change, and we have to be very flexible. And also in this concern, a lot of people like to criticize the company, criticize other people, but it's better to offer appreciation and not to really criticize or say some, say evil things about other people. A lot of people think that there are so many people in the company, I'm just one of them. This kind of thinking is very, very wrong, because if you are just one of the many, you are just nothing. You are just despising yourself, because you are hired for special reason to take up certain duties, and you have to have the pride, and you have to know your own importance, your own weight. There's my personal experience with my American Express days. I was originally hired by the American Express as a Space Bank manager. Space Bank is not the bank. It's a computerized reservation system at the time, related to tourism, hotel reservation, rent-a-car, things like that. And I was hired in Taiwan as a Space Bank manager, and later on, I got a promotion to also become the manager of the American Express credit card. Then something very unusual happened. The credit card manager was demoted. You all know that promotion, you get promoted, but sometimes in American company, there's something called demotion. The previous card manager was demoted to become my sales manager. That was very, very hard to take, for the guy that happened to him. But this guy was so sad, so unhappy. But he has only two choices: to accept the demotion or to quit. Or he decided to stay and become my sales manager. But his performance had not been very good because of emotional problems. So we have to know the different culture in different countries, in American, I like American management system because everything is in the guidebook, and you have the authorization power, and you know how to delegate your power to your subordinate, and lots of things are better than the Chinese, which are in the boss head. You don't know what he's thinking. You don't know where he's taking us to. But sometimes American management is very difficult also, because at the time I had to leave American Express before I had the passport that is very useless, because when I was to be promoted as the area manager, I couldn't travel freely to some of the countries assigned to me to handle, because the visa processing took too much time, and I couldn't handle the urgent cases at the time. It was very, very sad for me, but I finally decided to leave American Express for that particular reason, because I couldn't grow further because of the limitation. And then we all sometimes, in a difficult time, that you're looking for a job. If you are looking for a job, you feel frustrated. You have very little choice, and a lot of people say, am I worth only 22K? And then you're looking for something better, but for the boss, seeing how you work, your attitude and thing, the boss thinks you are not even worth it. The boss will not even pay you 22K. So this goes back to my number one rule, that to offer more value. You have to be always ready to offer more value for the company. You have to make a profit for the company before the company is able to pay you the salary that you expect. Then I said, today is the number one day of the rest of your life. And let me share with you my personal experience. In my young days, I was a heavy smoker. I smoked 60 cigarettes a day. That's 3 packs. From my age 20, I smoked until age 40. Every day I smoked 3 packs of cigarettes. Our country is very unusual country. A lot of Americans criticize it, but we have a cigarette called long life. Do you believe it? Can you smoke and still gain a long life? If I didn't stop smoking, I could be up there long before now. One day, my son asked me, "Hey, Daddy, is it good to smoke?" I said, "No." I said, "Then why do you do it?" He said, "It's habitual. I had to break it." My son asked me, "When?" I said, "Sometime soon." Well, after that, I keep planning when to stop smoking. Every day we do some planning. And every year we plan and write down our New Year resolution to decide what we do the next day. Some people will say, well, I'll do something next week, next month, or next year. I think the best time to do anything is today. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. You know what I did? I stopped smoking. At the age of 40, after 20 years of smoking, I stopped. And without telling anybody, without setting a new date to begin, I just said, I stop right now. And that's how I do it. That's the only way to do it. Then after I stopped smoking, I kept on gaining weight. And that's how I started playing tennis. And since after that, I decided to lose weight. And from that time on, I played tennis for 35 years. And that was at the age of 40. I stopped smoking, started tennis. At the age of 50, I started playing golf. And then at the age of 72, I started playing table tennis. At the age of 75, I was second place in Taipei City's doubles championship for the senior tournaments. So I think, you know, if we have the right attitude to do things, there's always a good result. Now, finally, I have to mention that people ask about my age and ask me how long would I keep working? Well, the answer is always like this, you know, I'll keep working until I drop. You know, I'll keep working. It's no problem. As long as my health permits, I'll doing with or without a reward, because it's good for my health and that makes me happy. And I always know that there's nothing we can do about the length of life. How long we live, it's in the hand of God. God decides how long you live. But there's a lot of things you can do to widen and to deepen your life. There's a lot of things you can do. You have a lot of knowledge you can acquire, a lot of interesting things, interesting experiences you can go through, and you can expand your life to make your life more enjoyable. And I'd like to close my speech by telling all of you that you are in a much luckier. You are a very fortunate people, a group of people who your family, your parents could afford to send you to a nice university, Providence, to study and to enrich your knowledge and skill. And you are ready a new challenge, which is to go out into the world and to be a fighter in the international arena. What's important now is your attitude. The attitude is really get involved. The right attitude will make you success. But if you try to shy away from many things, in my case, I often tell myself, if I'm offered a new thing, I often said, I think I can. Let me try. I hope you have the same attitude, like when you have a new opportunity, you have a new offer, you have the courage to say, I'd like to try. And that is the right attitude with you, and don't shy away. And this is my speech. I'd like to thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you're not bored by listening to a piece of computer. You're enjoying the bad experiences. Thank you very much.